Alright guys, let's talk about Aptos on the channel, I think for the first time actually on this channel. Now you can see that Aptos has dipped all the way back to the reaccumulation zone, guys. Now I want to, basically highlight that it is still making higher lows here. So that is actually a good trend to see. You can see that this low is barely higher than this low, but it is making higher lows. So I do like this trend that it is making right now at the moment, guys. Let me make a trend line here, and let's just put this like this for now. I think that is a good place to put it, and yeah, I think at the moment you can see that $6.17 is support for Aptos. Now it did struggle last week with this $6.74 mark. As you can see, it basically got rejected here, guys, and yeah, right now getting support. Let's look at this on the daily time frame at the moment. Now on the daily time frame, looks like it's getting support on my little blue line here, which is just to illustrate that it is making higher lows. So that actually is not anything technical, so just kind of ignore this blue line, but it is pushing through $5.57 on a weekly time frame, and basically pushing itself back above that trend line today. So yeah, let's see what happens with this resistance as it is at the moment, guys, at $6.17. If it can close above this, that's the start. Keep in mind this is a weekly resistance at the moment, so as long as we close Sunday to Monday's candle above this green line, or any green line above, guys, that signals that basically that has become support. So let's take a look at the tokenomics of Aptos here. Now, there is a circulating supply, which is relatively low, guys. About 590 million of this coin is circulating. There is a total supply of 1.14 billion. Now, there is no max supply, so keep that in mind, guys. If you want to buy Aptos, they can inflate it, as much as they want, really. Now, are they going to do that? That's another thing. Hopefully not. This kind of reminds me of Solana in a way, guys, because Solana actually doesn't have any max supply as well. So now, all-time high was almost $20 for Aptos, and that took place about 2 years ago. That was probably upon their launch, guys. I could go back in the chart. Let's just go back and look at 2023. And let's see, let's put this on a weekly time frame so it's a little bit quicker. Yeah, you can see that's pretty much when it launched. It had a very big wick. Yeah, it's a giant wick. Actually, it's even bigger on Binance. Wow, that's a wick all the way up to about $100, guys. So that's insane to see, but I don't know if that's just an error. Maybe it's just some glitch or whatever, guys, but yeah, I don't think it was ever $100. If you bought it at $100, I'm sorry for you. You're not going to get there for a while, but anyways, let's take a quick look back here again. Now, yeah, you are getting basically a 68% discount at the moment, and yeah, I mean, not bad in my opinion. I do think Aptos is a good project. Personally, I don't hold any Aptos, unfortunately. I would like to hold it. I just, I can't get every coin, guys. I'm sorry. But I will make a video on Aptos because I do believe this is an okay project at this point, and a lot of people are starting to talk about this project. So, yeah, if you are fortunate and you have enough money to pick this up, I think this is not a bad buy as it is at the moment. Basically, like I said, it's following this trend line and making higher lows. Now, let's take a quick look at the RSI real quick. The Relative Strength Index and the Stochastic RSI. Now, on the weekly time frame, actually very low on the Stoch. A little bit pointed down here, though, on the RSI, but it is very low. So that isn't bad, actually. I don't know if it'll have a month. Yeah, actually, it's just starting to print the RSI. Now it is pointed down, but yeah, oh wow, it's starting to print the Stoke, but it's just barely down here, guys. You can see 3.92. So extremely low as it's printing on the Stoke. So yeah, that actually looks okay. Now let's go back a little bit to the 1 day. Okay, it is pointed heavily to the downside on the Stoke RSI, but really pointed heavily to the upside on the RSI, right in the middle. So this is neutral zone, but you know, it kind of, I would say, cancels each other out really on the daily time frame. The 4-hour time frame, it is overbought now on the Stoke RSI, and it is pointed slightly down here on the RSI, so not the best here on the 4-hour time frame. Now the 1-hour time frame, slightly pointed up on the RSI, coming out of overbought on the Stoke. So, and it is pointed pretty heavily to the downside here. Now 15-minute time frame here, just for fun, pointed heavily down here on the Stoke RSI, but getting into oversold territory. So that is okay. Pointed slightly up here on the RSI. So yeah, I do think this Stoke will start to turn up very shortly. And yeah, so on the 15-minute time frame, probably, you know, soon will be okay. But the 1-hour time frame, it's kind of, you know, 50-50 here. Also the 4-hour, guys, it's kind of, you know, 50-50. It's pointed down, you know, here on the RSI, but extremely going up here to the upside with the Stoke. I mean, it's pointed heavily to the upside. So I would say the longer time frames actually look better for Aptos, but I do think, you know, once it cools down a little bit here, it will continue to the upside. Now, probably, you know, tonight I don't expect this to get above, for example, $6.74. I do think it's about to run out of steam here, because you can see on the 4-hour time frame it's just been going up for you know, for the last like 20 hours, you know, of candles here, because you have 4 green candles. And yeah, I think it's just about to run out of a little bit of steam here, cool down, and then, you know, continue to the upside. Now, the reason you do have this movement, I should have mentioned this at the beginning though, you do have Bitwise, who is filing an S1 registration statement for Aptos ETF. So that is, you know, why Aptos is really pumping today. So basically, you know, it's probably a buy the news event right now. And, you know, maybe some people will start to sell shortly. You know, I think the news has already kind of played itself out here. So let's see if I'm right. You know, maybe I'll be wrong. You know, maybe it will continue. But yeah, just be aware of that. Now let's take a quick look at Bitcoin here. As you can see, Bitcoin is coming back up to this box that I put here quite some time back, guys. And only recently did it really deviate from this box. And if I put this on the daily time frame, you will see that. And yeah, basically we entered this box in, you know, middle of November, end of November. And yeah, we exited the box on 25th of February, and we have since re-entered it one time, only to fall back a couple of days ago out of the box. And yeah, now we are trying to get back up inside this box. Now, keep in mind, there is nothing really technical about this box, guys. It is just to illustrate and show you that pretty much we have just ranged this whole time. And finally, we're getting a little bit of volatility. And yeah, you can see that right now Bitcoin is trying to hold $87,150 as support. Now it is pushing also through almost $90,000 basically. This is $89,635 as support on the daily time frame. So we are about $500 above that at the moment. So let's see if we can at least hold that. I don't know if we're going to push through 91, 111. Actually, you have this little resistance here above us, basically where you have the start of this box. So that's really the next goal for Bitcoin, guys. We need to get back inside this box, and we need to get back in this trading range that we were. And yeah, let's take a quick look at Ethereum. Ethereum is actually getting above this legendary trend line pretty much. Let me put this on a weekly time frame. You can just see it a little bit better. Now this trend line goes all the way back to June of 2022. You can see it's bounced several times off this trend line, and right now it is getting that bounce, so that is good to see. Now keep in mind, this is weekly time frame we are looking at it on right now. And yeah, I mean, we still have a few days. Anything can happen. It could fall below, and if it closes below, guys, I am not too optimistic about Ethereum. Now, I'm not too optimistic about Ethereum in general, but definitely if it closes below this trend line, we have serious problems. So let's see if it can at least hold. I would like to see it reclaim this Fibonacci, this green, zone here. It needs to get back up in it. And yeah, and then it has to really start working on this trend line. Now, let me put this on a daily time frame. You will see this a little bit better. So you can see basically since middle December, this trend line has held down Ethereum. And that would be the next thing for Ethereum to take on. So taking a look at the total market cap, guys, you can see this is starting to trend back up, and we're sitting at 1.12 trillion at the moment. 1.14 trillion is the next resistance on a weekly time frame, and then 1.19, and then 1.25. So let's see what we can do in the next few days. Dominance, guys, still it's trending up. This is the daily time frame. Now, it actually hasn't trended up too much today. It's just been kind of, I would say, stable in a way, although it looks like it's starting to pump right now. I mean, the range for today has been relatively low. Let me put this on a 4-hour time frame. So yeah, I mean, it really hasn't pumped that much today. Now, taking a look at the CME futures, you can see that there still is this gap here, guys. And like I wrote, still this gap remains unfilled, but it's only a few $100 gap, guys. It's like $600 or $700, but it still remains. Now, unfortunately, we didn't fill it the other day. I would have liked to have filled it and gone up then, but yeah, we did not fill it, unfortunately. So let's see. I don't think this gap is so significant, though, that we will come down and fill it anytime soon at this point. But you never know, guys. Anything can happen. We do have to keep our eye on this gap, but it is not that big of a gap. Only several $100, if we can say wide or thick, this gap, you can see. But yeah, let's take a quick look at the dollar index, guys. This is, really crashing the last 3 days. This is what we really need to see. Bitcoin will get stronger if we have a weaker dollar. Now, right now, it is finding support basically here at 104.26, as you can see. But today it has already crashed through, 104.95. So let's see if it can crash through this level today. Maybe this holds it up. But all of these green lines are weekly supports. So there are quite a few supports holding it up. But yeah, guys, I mean, for the last few days, this is just going down, down, down very quickly. Now, if I put this on let's put this on a monthly time frame, you'll see this a little bit better, a little bit faster. And this goes all the way back, to, many years ago, guys. We are still at quite elevated levels. I mean, look, we're still up here. And, in the late 1990s and early 2000s, we were higher. But, I mean, if we go back in history, I mean, okay, you have the early 80s where, yeah, the dollar was super strong. But for the most part, we've traded, well below this. Now, it doesn't really go back before 1967, but if you just look at this like this, I know it's really hard to see, but we are right here. So the majority of the time, we have traded much lower. So yeah, I am glad to see that we are starting to weaken a little bit, and that will give Bitcoin a little bit of strength, guys. So anyways, let's take a quick look at the liquidation heat map. Now, it's been relatively tame. Last 24 hours, only 255 million have been wrecked, and it's pretty equal on both sides. Mostly shorts have been wrecked, though. Now, taking a look at the quarterly returns, still Q1 for Bitcoin minus. Ethereum, absolutely terrible. It's lost about a third of its value, unfortunately, and it's the leader of the altcoins, again, unfortunately. Now, monthly returns, we are starting to see Bitcoin come back for March. It was minus the other day, I think, a little bit, but we are, plus almost 7% now, so that's what we really need to see. Now, fear and greed, yesterday 15, today 20. So we are basically, floating around this extreme fear. And yeah, you can see last week was also extreme fear 21. So it's been this way for, about a week or 10 days or so, guys. Now, the altcoin season index, it is a 22 right now. I refreshed this right before this video. So yeah, it still is a 22. So that means if it's anything under 25, it's Bitcoin season. Now, bull market peak indicators, still 0 from 30 have been hit, guys. It's 100% hold. You can go through this list, but yeah, nothing has been hit. Now, last week we did have 10 days of outflow, and this was hit, but I don't think this is a good indicator, in my opinion. Best indicator, Pi cycle top indicator. If I zoom in, guys, still hasn't crossed, so I still think it has quite some time. Now, the economic calendar, guys, tomorrow, you do have jobless claims, and you do have a few speakers tomorrow. So that can be a little bit important, to see what they say. And maybe this Atlanta Fed GDP now could be a little bit important. I spoke to someone today about this, and yeah, we have to see, guys. Now, Friday is the most important, of course. Non-farm payrolls is the most important thing for this week. Okay, average hourly earnings is also important this week. We do have unemployment rate and things. We do have some speakers, a lot of speakers on Friday again as well. But mainly this week is waiting for non-farm payrolls. Now, if we take a look at the Fed Watch tools, guys, still 93% believe we are not getting a cut. There's still 7%, holding out hope. But in my opinion, probably not going to get that cut. Now, let's take a quick look at May. May is starting to, we're starting to get some, like 1/3, a little bit more than 1/3 of people believe we're going to get at least a 1/4 point cut. Now, if we add the 2.5% here, yeah, at least 40% believe we're getting some type of cut. So let's see what happens. But yeah, it does look like it is going down, actually, because one day ago it was 43% for this rate right here. So yeah, and we still have plenty of time before May. There is still 2 months, 2 full months before this meeting. So yeah, it could change pretty wildly and rapidly. Now, the crypto bubbles, guys, looks a lot better. We are green on the day finally. Last hour, not so green, unfortunately. The week, still terrible, guys. The month, even worse. But yeah, we are getting a green day, thank God. So now, if you want to stake your coins, guys, go to Coinondo. For example, if you want to stake your Bitcoin, be sure to, take a look at the days you have to, lock up your coins and things. Look at the limits. Be aware of all this. You don't want to get locked up in a position that, you can't get out of when you're ready to sell, guys. So anyways, if you like this video, like, subscribe, activate the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.